Get that disgusting eyesore off my waterfront. That's the first thing I hear, right out loud, on what should have been a quiet Saturday morning, the sun just barely above the trees, steam rising off my coffee, and there it is, that voice slicing through the mist like a bad omen. I swear, Karen Whitfield's voice can curdle milk at 100 yards. She comes stomping down my dock, no warning, no invitation, trailing 2 HOA board members who look like they're praying for the earth to swallow them whole, snapping pictures of my old fishing boat like she stumbled onto the wreck of the Exxon Valdez. This ugly piece of junk is ruining our entire community, she hollers, nearly shaking with outrage, waving her phone like she's filming an episode of Cops. And I'm just standing there on my own dock, this dock I've maintained for 2 decades, every plank, every nail, every tax paid, and every storm weathered, watching as Karen plants her flag like she owns the lake and I'm just some trespasser. Those board members, Thomas and Rebecca, are shuffling their feet, eyes fixed on the planks, wishing they were anywhere else. But Karen, she's in her element, practically glowing, listing every flaw she sees like she's reading off war crimes. Do you have any idea what this does to property values? She says, flinging her arm, so hard I'm surprised her shoulder doesn't pop out. I'm not gonna lie, my old Boston Whaler isn't exactly showroom fresh. She's got scars from 100 memories, scuffed sides, sun-faded paint, patches here and there, but she's mine. She runs just fine, and she's part of the lake story. So, I set my coffee down, trying to keep my hands steady even though I'm about 2 seconds from launching Karen into the lake. But you know what my dad used to say? Sometimes you gotta meet fury with calm, or else you'll end up the one on the evening news. So I say, Mrs. Whitfield, this dock's private property. Built in 1999, before the HOA was even a twinkle in anybody's eye. Karen just doubles down. It's visible from common areas, which means it affects community standards. We have every right to demand compliance with aesthetic guidelines, she snaps, waving that clipboard like it's the 10 Commandments. Deteriorating marine vessel, eyesore classification, immediate removal required. Thomas tries to interject, mumbling something about the regulations, but Karen shuts him down with a glare that could melt lead. Rebecca, meanwhile, is off in another world, probably dreaming of moving to Alaska. So, where are these aesthetic guidelines spelled out exactly? I ask, as casual as you please. Karen doesn't even blink. We know it when we see it. Any reasonable person can tell the difference between appropriate and inappropriate. Just like that, my boat's now an objective fact of ugliness, decided by royal decree. I nod like I'm considering it, and Karen hands me a notice. 14 days, she says, as dramatic as a traffic judge. Cosmetic improvements aren't enough. This vessel needs to go. And don't even think about causing trouble. The HOA has full legal authority. We've dealt with resistant homeowners before. Yeah, that happened. After they storm off, I'm left there holding my cold coffee, watching the ripples on the lake, thinking about how my dad built this dock for mornings just like this. Peace, quiet, a place to breathe. He also taught me that bullies only have as much power as you give them. So, I do what I do best, document everything. Every word, every threat, every scowl, I record it all. Karen's about to find out I don't scare easy. First thing I notice is Karen's authority is built on sand. No written rule, just vibes and a loud voice. All she's got is intimidation and the hope I'll fold. I finish my notes, toss a line in the water, and let her think she's won the first round. 3 days later, certified mail shows up. Karen's legal magnum opus, stamped urgent compliance required. 3 pages of dense, threatening language, all about my deteriorating marine vessel. Thing is, there's still no mention of any actual regulation, just more chest puffing. So I take it to Lena Coleman. She's lived here longer than anybody, knows every secret. She sees the letter, laughs so hard she nearly spills her sweet tea. Karen tried to cite me for my mailbox being too tall last month, she says. Half the neighborhood's sick of her, but nobody wants to be next on her hit list. I make my rounds. James in his garage whispers, she's threatening to sue Mrs. Patterson over a garden. It's nuts, man. Folks are scared. Karen's got them jumping at shadows, scared to even have an opinion. That night, I call Karen. I play it defeated. Mrs. Whitfield, I want to comply, but but it's tough finding a place for the boat so fast. Any chance I can get an extension? She's gleeful. Finally, she thinks I've caved. 14 days is already generous, she says. I play dumb. What exactly counts as appropriate or inappropriate? She doubles down. Reasonable people know what belongs. Your boat doesn't. I hang up and start digging. 47 pages of Oakage Community Covenant. Every line, every loophole, and what do I find? Vague language about community harmony and neighborhood character. Nothing enforceable about boats, paint, or even mailboxes. Karen's authority is smoke and mirrors. So I start building my own arsenal. Screenshots, property records, every text, every voicemail. I go down to the county recorder's office, find my original dock permit from 1999. Turns out, my docks is just outside the HOA's official jurisdiction, a detail Karen never bothered to check. I hear more stories. Linda, fined for sunflowers too bright. Robert, ordered to repaint his garage door for continuity. Dorothy, the widow, threatened over her garden gnomes. The pattern is clear. Vague rules, selective enforcement, and Karen picking off the folks least likely to fight back. I call Karen's office, on the record, asking for the specific regulations on waterfront aesthetics. Her irritation practically radiates through the phone. Regulations are perfectly clear, she snaps, dodging every question. Obvious violations will be addressed accordingly. She's never had anyone push for real answers. Then comes the twist. Early Tuesday, 3 days after my supposed deadline. A tow truck the size of a small house rolls up behind Karen's SUV, 2 board members in tow, and a guy named Joe Stevens from Allied Towing. Karen's marching like Patton, clipboard swinging, measuring tape out. Our compliance deadline has expired. The board authorized removal of your vessel, she declares. But Joe, the tow truck guy, he isn't buying it. I need something from law enforcement or the county before I touch private property, he says, arms crossed. Board paperwork isn't a court order. Karen's smile gets real tight, but Joe just stands there, not budging. Neighbors start coming out. Lena on her porch, James checking his mailbox, even Dorothy hobbling over with her walker. Karen announces to the world, the community supports proper standards. We will not tolerate residents who think the rules don't apply. Dorothy pipes up. Seems a bit extreme for a perfectly good boat, dear. Some folks clap. Joe refuses to tow without real paperwork. If you want to call the police, that's fine by me, but I'm not moving someone's boat on HOA, say so, he says. Cornered, Karen calls the sheriff. I just smile. Please do. I'd welcome an official review. The crowd gets bigger. Then Karen makes her fatal mistake, shouting loud enough for everyone to hear. The HOA board has absolute authority to remove anything we determine to be inappropriate. I catch her words and ask, so you can remove any property you find unattractive, regardless of legal ownership? Exactly right, she snaps. The trap is set. Joe shakes his head, packs up and leaves. The crowd murmurs. Word spreads quick. Next morning, Inspector Williams from County Code Compliance knocks on my door. We've received complaints of HOA overreach. Yesterday's incident put it on our radar. By Saturday, there's a public hearing. Half the neighborhood shows up. Joe from Allied Towing, Dorothy, Linda, Robert, everyone's there. Karen arrives with an attorney, Peterson, who looks like he'd rather be at the dentist. He gives a polished speech, photos of my boat, a petition, lots of high-flown talk about community standards. Karen can't help herself, starts preaching about her comprehensive authority. Inspector Williams asks, are these standards written or subjective? Karen declares, we evaluate each situation based on impact. Our residents expect us to be proactive. Translation, it's whatever Karen wants. When my turn comes, I keep it simple. Mrs. Whitfield, you've confirmed the HOA claims authority to remove anything you find inappropriate without objective criteria. Does that apply to board members too? She blurts, standards apply to everyone equally. So I file a formal complaint against her, harassment, intimidation, attempted property seizure, all by her own logic. Now neighbors start speaking up. James about the tow truck, Lena about the noise, Dorothy about her gnomes. Even Rebecca, who'd been filming the whole mess, finally says, Karen, maybe we've gone too far. This is supposed to help everyone, not just one person's opinion. The board crumbles right there. Inspector Williams checks with county legal, then announces, the Oakage HOA has exceeded its lawful jurisdiction and engaged in arbitrary harassment. Mr. Parker, your dock is private property outside HOA authority. You have the right to restrict access to anyone who's harassed you. Karen loses it, but the crowd's with me. I put up a sign, private property, restricted access by order of the county. Sheriff's deputies swing by to confirm it's legit. Karen, Thomas, Rebecca, they all try to test the line, but I'm clear. You're welcome here the day you stop using power to bully your neighbors. The rest of the community. We fished, swapped stories, started acting like neighbors again. Karen tries a little protest. 8 people with signs, live streaming themselves for Facebook. It fizzles out in under an hour when they realize public access is still open, just not my dock. Her last move is calling the sheriff, but the deputy reads the paperwork and says, Ma'am, further trespass will result in criminal charges. Mr. Parker has been entirely reasonable. Here's the kicker. Summer rolls on. My old dock becomes the place to be. The only rules: respect each other, clean up after yourself, no harassment. Even Karen's former fans qualify under that. The community newsletter, now run by new HOA President Rebecca, puts a photo of my ugly boat on the cover, surrounded by kids learning to fish. Property values go up 8% thanks to the new community fishing program. By Labor Day, we got families coming from out of state just so their kids can fish here. 50 permits issued. Even Karen, eventually, comes to the boundary, humbled, a little sheepish. Maybe I was too concerned about appearances, she admits, asking for a fishing permit. No aesthetic policing, no authority claims. Fishing only, I tell her. She nods, takes a seat, and you know what? Every Tuesday morning now, Karen sits quietly on the dock, sometimes even complimenting other people's boats. Turns out, ugly and beautiful aren't about boats, docks, or sunflowers. They're about how you treat people. Karen built her empire on intimidation. She lost it to simple, consistent decency. The dock's still standing, my boat's still floating, and the community's more alive than ever. Funny thing, right? Sometimes, the ugliest thing on the lake isn't a boat. It's forgetting to treat your neighbors like neighbors. So what about you? If this was your waterfront, would you stand up and fight, or try to keep the peace? Drop your story in the comments. I want to hear what you do. And if you've ever dealt with an HOA gone wild, trust me, you're definitely not alone.